The numbness effect. How constant distraction slowly disconnects you from your own life. In Mr. Stick's framework, Finance Psychology, most people are not overwhelmed because life is too hard. They're overwhelmed because they never stop consuming noise, content, entertainment, opinions, notifications, constant stimulation, and eventually something subtle begins to happen. They stop hearing themselves think. That is where numbness begins. The constant input problem. The modern person rarely experiences silence anymore. There's always something entering the mind. Music, videos, scrolling, commentary, reactions, endless information. At first, it feels harmless, even productive. But eventually, constant input creates a dangerous condition. Mental overcrowding. And overcrowded minds lose clarity. The disconnection begins quietly. Numbness does not happen instantly. It develops gradually. People stop reflecting, stop sitting with their thoughts, stop questioning their direction, stop examining their habits. Not because they are incapable, because distraction keeps interrupting awareness before it can deepen. The escape habit. Many people are not consuming constantly because they are entertained. They're consuming constantly because they're avoiding themselves. Silence creates reflection. Reflection creates awareness, and awareness can become uncomfortable. So instead of sitting with uncertainty, loneliness, dissatisfaction, fear, people immediately reach for stimulation. Another video, another scroll, another distraction, anything to avoid stillness. The erosion of attention. Attention is one of the most valuable resources a person has. Because whatever controls your attention eventually influences your behavior, your emotions, your direction, your identity. But modern distraction trains people to live in fragments. Short attention, short focus, short emotional cycles. Over time, people lose the ability to stay present long enough to think deeply. The drift into passive consumption. Once numbness develops, people stop living intentionally. They begin existing reactively. Wake up, consume, work, scroll, sleep, repeat. And because everyone else is doing it too, the pattern feels normal. But normal does not always mean healthy. The financial consequence. Numbness affects finances more than people realize. Distracted people spend impulsively, avoid planning, delay action, consume emotionally, escape through entertainment and purchases. Why? Because awareness requires presence, and presence has become rare. Financial discipline requires intentional thought. Numbness weakens intentionality. The emotional suppression loop. Here is another dangerous part. People often use distraction to suppress unresolved emotions. Stress, failure, regret, lack of direction. Instead of confronting those things directly, they bury them beneath stimulation. But suppressed problems do not disappear. They accumulate quietly beneath the surface. The loss of internal direction. Eventually, people stop asking themselves meaningful questions. What am I building? Where am I going? What kind of person am I becoming? Is this life intentional? Without those questions, life becomes automatic. And automatic living often leads to unconscious regret. The return of awareness. Recovery begins with interruption, not dramatic transformation. Interruption, moments of silence, reflection, reduced distraction, intentional thought. At first, this feels uncomfortable because many people have spent years avoiding stillness. But eventually clarity begins to return. The rebuilding of attention. Attention must be rebuilt deliberately, not perfectly, but intentionally. People must relearn how to focus deeply, think clearly, sit quietly, observe themselves honestly, because clarity rarely appears in noise. It appears in stillness. The difference between escape and recovery. Not all rest is unhealthy. Rest restores. Escape avoids. The difference is important. One prepares you to return stronger. The other slowly disconnects you from reality. Final words from Mr. Sticks. Most people are not losing themselves all at once. They're losing themselves gradually beneath constant distraction. One scroll at a time. One avoidance pattern at a time. one unconscious habit at a time. So here's your directive. Protect your attention, because whatever constantly occupies your mind will eventually shape your life. And if you never slow down long enough to hear yourself think, you may wake up years later realizing you were present for your life physically, but absent from it mentally. If this made you reflect on how much noise surrounds your life, pay attention to that feeling. Awareness is not weakness. It is the beginning of clarity. More frameworks are coming, and each one is designed to help you think more intentionally in a world designed to keep you distracted. Stay present. Shalom.